Okay, so ready for another deep dive. Today we're diving into Summer Romance, the latest from Annabel Monaghan. And we've got some excerpts from an article that really get into like the why this book works, what it's really about. Spoiler, it's about way more than just, falling in love.
Well, and that's what I find so interesting. It's like she takes this classic romance setup, but then throws in grief, divorce, all the messy stuff that actually makes up real life.
It's kind of Monaghan's thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like our main character, Allie Morris, she's a professional organizer, but her own life, total disaster zone after her mom dies and she goes through this sudden divorce.
Oh, it's completely intentional. That whole contrast, her job versus her actual life, like a huge wink to anyone who feels like they've got it all together on the outside, but inside it's kind of fallen apart.
And then just when you think things can't get messier, bam, she meets Ethan at a dog park, of all places.
Which, again, not an accident. That setting. Pure genius, really. It's like she's tapping into that universal awkwardness of dating, trying to play it cool while your dog's dragging you through the mud. Instantly relatable.
So relatable chaos, check. Awkward meet cute, check. But the article argues there's this whole other level to it. Like, Monaghan isn't afraid to go there, emotionally speaking.
Exactly. It points out how summer romance, yeah, it's got its fun, lighthearted moments, but it also dives into these bigger themes. Self-discovery, resilience, especially after your life takes a hard left turn. And this is where Monaghan's own experiences really come through.
You mean like how she works in those little details from COVID, the whole hard pants debate?
Yeah.
It's those little nods that make it feel so real, so relatable.
100%. Like, she's right there with you living through it. But it goes deeper than just relatable details. Her background, her own story, adds another layer entirely.
Okay, now this is where it gets really good. This whole career 180 she did. Investment banking to, like, writing love stories.
I know, right? And the article suggests that this totally bleeds into her characters. The risks they take, finding fulfillment outside those traditional paths. I think a lot of us can relate to that, right?
But whole, what am I supposed to be doing with my life thing?
Totally. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. It's not just a romance novel. It's like this commentary on relationships, on life, and maybe even giving us permission to go after what we really want.
So we've got this author, right? Ditched the whole corporate world to write romance. And it's like her own life is kind of woven into this book. But the article takes it even further, right? Saying summer romance is part of this bigger shift happening in romance novels.
Yeah, it's saying that summer romance is like a perfect example of how the genre is changing. Romance novels, they've gotten a bad rap, right? For being predictable, formulaic. But this new wave, it's way more nuanced, more like real life,
So less about Prince Charming saves the day and more about two kind of messed up people figuring things out together.
100%. It's characters with baggage, with pasts, making mistakes. I mean, just like us, dealing with grief, work stress, all that real life stuff. And that's what makes it so interesting, watching how they handle it all.
I actually love this. The article calls it emotionally intelligent romance. What does that even mean? In a love story, I mean.
It means the characters are, like, self-aware. They don't just fall head over heels because the plot says so. They're thinking about what they want, what their partner needs, how to talk to each other. It's a lot of understanding why they're even together in the first place.
So it's deeper than just finding the one, huh? It's about, like, becoming better people because of that relationship.
It is. And what's really cool is this whole shift, it's mirroring what's going on in society too, right? Being open and honest, growing as people, it's becoming more important. We're questioning the old ways relationships should be, and those questions are showing up in the books we read.
That's so true. It's like summer romance, these kinds of books, they're giving us a new way to even talk about love. A way that's more honest, more relatable, I guess.
Exactly. And I think that's why they connect with readers on such a deep level. That feeling of, oh, someone else gets it. The messiness, the hope, it's all there.
Yeah.
Makes you feel less alone,
Okay, so we've got this romance novel that's fun, for sure, but it also goes deep on self-discovery, resilience, how love is changing. So where does that leave us? What's the takeaway here?
The big thing the article pushes is love and finding yourself. They're not separate things. They can totally happen together, and summer romance shows that so well. Ollie, the main character, it's not just about her and Ethan, it's about her figuring out her own life, too.
It's like that whole, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. But maybe summer romance is saying, like, it's not that simple.
Right.
It's more about being open to, growing, changing together and on your own.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that whole messy process of figuring it out, That's what makes a relationship strong.
So it's like instead of avoiding the messy parts, summer romance is saying, lean in, let's get real.
Exactly. And you know what I find interesting? The article mentions how Monaghan wrote a lot of summer romance during COVID.
Oh, wow. Seriously?
Yeah, like during lockdown.
So she's writing about characters going through these huge changes while her own life is totally upside down.
It adds a whole other layer, right? Like she's saying, we're all in this together, trying to make sense of things, finding joy wherever we can.
And maybe those moments of joy, they mean even more when you've gone through the hard stuff side by side.
Maybe that's exactly it. Love isn't about escaping life, but about facing it with someone.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from dog parks and hard pants
Yeah.
to like the core of what modern love really is.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It really has. And it kind of makes you think, if these romance novels are really showing us what we want, what we're afraid of, what does summer romance say about us? I mean, it's got the light stuff, the serious stuff, all mixed together. What does that mean about what we're looking for in our own lives in love?
That's the big question, isn't it? And honestly, I think everyone's answer is going to be a little different.
So true. Well, huge thanks to you for taking us on this deep dive into summer romance and like the whole evolution of love stories. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep those pages turning, keep asking the big questions about love, life, all of it. And until next time, happy reading.